All right, we are recording.
Hello.
Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast. It's been a while. I have my friend here who plays Jimmy Lightfoot on the RP servers, Red Dead. Also goes by Bert Linton. And we're going to
Hey.
talk about stuff.
Here we are. What's up? How's it going?
Yes. We were already kind of talking beforehand, but I think we're going to talk about, you were going on about some RP stuff. I think it's about RPGs.
Yeah, I don't want to just start listing off shit, honestly. I don't
Um,
know. Let's get back to what we were talking to before, just
yeah,
about how you're finding role play in Red Dead and how I'm finding it. TFRP, which is so awesome.
yeah, we were talking about mechanical stuff and role play. Um,
Yeah,
I was agreeing with you because um, even not just knowing how to do stuff. Like the issue people have where they hey, I know how to do everything because I can do it because it's mechanical. Is not always a good idea to know how to do everything.
yeah, and also knowing where everything is on the map, just because it's marked on the map,
Hmm.
in the game map. Does your character really know where it is? Where to find something? Does he really know about that house all the way up in the snow in the middle of nowhere that barely anyone goes to? Probably not.
It
Unless they've been there before or something, right?
and it's a lot more fun to limit yourself on not knowing things at all. Because if you don't know something, it can actually just add to the role play. And if I actually try to look at my map very often, unless I'm going to the major cities. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I know where that little cabin out in the woods is. I'm gonna go there
Yeah.
right now.
Like there are signs pointing to, this is where Valentine is, this is where Saint Denis is, stuff like that. To be like, okay, your character could just follow the road and eventually it will lead them somewhere like a main city or a main town.
Back on Wild West RP, I turned off my mini map.
Yeah, I see a lot of people do that. It's
Um,
good.
yeah, and it actually helps you remember the world better too. It becomes more like, okay, I remember these roads now because I'm actually looking at the roads. Also, the longest
Yeah.
time I remember, I didn't know how to auto run.
Yeah, autopilot, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely useful for stuff, especially like for people that are recording and streaming and want to make some cool cinematic things. But you're right, like it does when you're relying on autopilot to take you everywhere, you kind of miss out like actually remembering like landmarks and things and points of interest.
I did
So
use
I'm
autopilot.
guilty of using it a lot.
Yeah,
I
you
should
are. I
use it
just noticed
more.
you're like, okay, I'm not gonna talk and run. I'm just meet me
Yeah.
there. I was like,
Well, it's
okay,
usually because I'm going for a piss break or something.
yeah, it makes sense. I I realized the
Which is
kit.
bad though. That's bad because if I get caught in roleplay, like in the middle of going from one tower to another because I'm taking a pee break, then that just looks bad on me. Like someone may try to rob me on the road between Valentine and Blackwater or whatever, and then I'm like not there, and I'm just
You wake
running
up.
on my
You
horse
wake
like
up
an
dead.
idiot. Yeah, I'm like, oh well, I guess I got fucking shot because I didn't stop.
Dude.
But speaking of maps, there's a really good role player on TFRP who's role playing a cartographer, and his character. Oh, I think it's a she, but she's playing a male. And their character is like actually going to places, like asking people that know where like certain landmarks are, asking if they can come with them, and then they're role playing drawing out the map, and like mapping it out, and then selling the maps to people for like who don't know where things are, which is awesome. Like it's creating a lot of role play. It's
That's
really
cool.
cool.
It'd be cool if it'd be cool if they actually just completely turned off the map on the server. Like you had to buy a map someone put together for you.
That could be sick. Yeah,
Um.
like piece together the maps like piece by piece.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know how they do it if they could do it, but that'd be awesome if they did.
You just you draw it in paint and you have to submit it to the to the Discord.
Well, there are some really good artists in like the communities as well who do some really amazing like flyers and artwork. I'm sure someone could probably do it.
That actually makes
I
me want to
noticed
step my game up when I see stuff like that.
somebody on the TFRP Discord has been making wanted posters that like really simple like outlines of characters. And they're actually like the devs love it so much. I saw like in one of the streams they're actually going to add it as a mechanic, like put them when they put bounties in. that there are actually going to be like bounties of like what the character looks like on the poster.
Like a sketch artist will do it, or they just can take
Almost, yeah,
Ah,
almost like a sketch artist.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. They've done a lot of really good things with the server. The splitting the map into, I was a bit kind of apprehensive at first whether or not it would work, but it's seamless. Like to get from one server to the other, you go to the train station, you buy a ticket, and then you kind of if the other server's full, it will queue you, kind of like you're just queuing another
Oh,
server.
that is some high quality stuff right
Oh,
there.
it's so well done. It's so well done. Like as soon as the queue is done, and you basically as long as you're near the a train station where you bought the ticket, it'll just say you got on the train, and then you move over. And like I think if you go from like the east map, like in Valentine, you'll arrive at Rig Station, and then vice versa, and it's just seamless. So it's helped a lot with the population because obviously without one sync, you can only get 32 players on a server.
It
But
makes
now
it
there's
seem
30.
64.
Yeah, but it makes it seem like 64 because now there's only 32 players. Like there's 32 players on the entire east side of the map, and then vice versa.
Is
So there's just so many more people around.
does their server is their idea to have one server but just two places? Is that the idea? Or they're gonna have more than one?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have more than one server,
That's
and I
good.
hope not because that's where it really takes it out of like when other server was like 4 different servers, but it was the same location. You're not allowed to like say in character like
Yeah,
you can't say, "Hey, I'm on District 4 of this server." You're in the same place. Like you're both in Valentine, but you're in a different district. Like how does that work?
and the thing, I think it's
That,
an issue for Wild West RP because they're like they instead of like to like because they're growing really fast and they're like, well, we want everyone to be able to play, but we're gonna have 5 servers. But once things died down, they have to let the floodgates open to get more people. But then everyone was always divided on servers, so you weren't always able to roleplay if your friends. And if the people who are dedicated are gonna stick around, then when you get into the server, say like for the server you're playing right now, they only have to like loosen the flow a little bit just to fill up the 10 people who are missing to keep servers semi full, and then it makes for better RP then because you have more consistency.
yeah, everyone had their favorite servers as well. That's a problem. Like because obviously no one wants to queue, but everyone wants to roleplay with the people they're familiar with. Which honestly, on TFRP has been great because I've been roleplaying with a lot of new people just because I've been traveling around and uh, met a lot of new characters that role players I've never interacted with before that have just made it great. It's all been like really organic. It's completely just I've gone to this place and the security company is guarding this, but now someone else has come along and said, oh, like this person and they've got something going on with another person that I know, and then we're like, oh, well, maybe we could work together on this, or hey, actually, this person, I don't like this person, I've got a problem with them, uh, you know, and it will just stuff will just evolve from that. It's just so much better, and no one sticks like it's not everyone sticking around in Valentine anymore, which I love. Like, I think there were 30 players on the other night, and I
That's
went up
good.
to Valentine with a few people I had to check my mail there because as well the mail is specific to each post office, and the same with the banks. So you put $5 in the bank in Valentine, you don't have $5 in the bank in Rhodes.
That's
You have to go
awesome.
to that specific place and get the money out. And then also to kind of, I think it's to reduce grinding, but like you put $5 in the bank, uh, it will generate a small amount of interest over time when you're logged on. So like you'll slowly accumulate money without having to go out and grind.
That's cool.
And thankfully, like I really hope that there's less grinding anyway, because like again, like what we were talking about earlier, with mechanically, just because it's in the server mechanically, it doesn't mean your character can do that. Like, does your character really know how to hunt? Does your character really know how to craft an arrow from a wood and stone? Or
Dude,
I don't know.
it sounds pretty good because like I feel like the devs of the server, like people who are putting together, they sat down. I feel they sat down in a circle of the people who are, they know what role play is, and they're like, let's talk about the things that makes good RP and breaks RP. And I think they really sat down and thought about that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting from what you're telling me.
a lot of people I know who tested it, like they're good role players anyway, and they were people from other communities, and they probably asked like, hey, what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to prevent from happening, and there are things that are in place already at the start to kind of reduce that. Like I think with hunting, I think it depends on like how far away you are from a town when you get the kill. So if you're like just going right outside of Valentine and trying to just grind out bucks or whatever and coming back and selling them at a fast pace, they'll be worth less than if you went further out into the middle of nowhere to get one and then brought it back. You get a little bit more money as a kind of, you know.
It makes it more fun because then like you could be like, you and I could be like, let's go on a hunting trip together. And the best part is we could like take our horses to the edge of wood because technically people don't really ride their horses through like wooded areas. They actually tend to go on foot.
Dismount.
Yeah, because like the horse can't really travel at a good pace through the woods. You're gonna hit a tree unless you stay on the path. So like I would like say I was going with you on whatever character we're playing. We could go to like one of the more densely wooded areas, and you and I can just have like a nice conversation while walking casually in the woods and looking for our prey. You know?
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like as well, like they've got like you can tame horses. Like you can't just buy a horse from the stable. That just doesn't exist.
You,
You have to go out and find someone who hopefully the idea is that you find a character that is a horse tamer and then you buy a horse off them, which is what I did as Jimmy. Like Jimmy doesn't know how to fucking tame horses. He's a hunter.
that's good.
So Jimmy sought out someone that he saw because people have been putting flyers up everywhere in game, like the slash scene emote. Just really cool. Like it's a scene like, hey, there's a flyer here saying I'm a horse rancher and I'm selling a thoroughbred or whatever, or I'm taking people out on excursions to show them where horses are, and then I'm going to break them in for them. That's what I
That's
did with
really good for RP. That is so
yeah.
good.
The problem is that not everyone is kind of keeping that in mind. They just be like, oh, okay, so because horse thing's a mechanic, my character uh, wouldn't actually know how to tame a horse, but they're going out there and taming horses anyway without kind of taking a step back and being like, do I know how to tame a horse?
Well, what we could do is
I'm, I'm
like
a I'm a dentist, or I don't know. I'm not just trying to name any character specifically, but I work at a bathhouse, or I work at a general store like Cedric. Do I know how to tame a horse? Probably not. And
here's
it's
some
better
good
when they just
advice too. If you're new to role play and you're watching this and you want some tips, uh, there's a lot of good ways to get interesting RP, and it's good to limit yourself, but also not having a horse is pretty awesome. I've had some really cool interactions on Riker because Riker for the longest time when I was playing him didn't have a fucking horse. He either stole horses from people. I'd go on my way to steal horses from players because then there'd be more interaction if they realized I stole their horse. Or just walking across the country on foot. You actually end up in that time period it takes you to run across. A lot of other players on horseback will pass you, or carriages will pass you, and you tend to get interactions that are pretty interesting with people, like offering you a ride or help, or if a
yeah.
carriage shows up, the guy's like, hop on in, you know? It's like, it's a lot more fun. And you see weird things too, like, I was walking, and this lady rides past me, just ignores me, and then she gets attacked by wolves. She falls off, and I save her life, but she gets knocked out. So I carry her. I don't go and get her horse because I can't whistle for it. Also, didn't know where it went, so I just carry her all the way back to Valentine on my shoulder, and saved her life, and that was funny.
Yeah. The oh, sorry, just had to clear my throat then. The trains run a lot more often as well, which is great because if you don't have a horse, you can get around pretty easily. So there are a lot of trains running, which has been nice.
As an
Like,
outlaw, I like going on trains because I like sometimes when I was playing Riker, I'd pretend to be the ticket guy and con people out of money.
yeah, that's good. That's good. I hope, like, you saw the train robbery we did on Wild West RP. That was great. Like, that was some
Oh
of the
my
best
god!
RP I've been part of for sure.
Have you watched it yet?
I haven't finished watching it actually. I've been quite busy, but it's it was really fun. It was really fun.
I spent
Um,
10, so it was 10 hours of recording altogether, like maybe a little bit more than that. It was like 11 hours, and I think I did a pretty good job of breaking it down to the key moments where we moved around and talked like about the
I'm just
plans because we kept reiterating our plans over and over and over. So it's like,
gosh, it was so messy. I hastily put together. It was poorly planned, and honestly, it should not have really been successful with the way things went. Like I'm just glad I actually got to role play it out properly because I know at the start, like rewatching the VOD, you ended up just shooting them down when they didn't really understand you were on the train, and I think
yeah.
people got a little confused. But
The
then when
first the first
yeah,
deputy just stared at me and he walked back and forth. Like I think I scared him because like he didn't say anything. Maybe he didn't push his button or he just like missed the button or something. He walked back and forth and then pulled his gun out. Cause I was pointing at it for a good like 10 seconds, like, deputy, put your hands up. This is a
yeah, so
robbery.
yeah,
And then
so
the other guy rushed me and I was like, I guess I'm in combat now. you know?
yeah, that was nuts. But we kind of able to salvage it later on when like I turned up later and managed to negotiate your release, and then the others turning up and taking the sheriff's hostages. Like I just hope that they enjoyed the role play as much
I
as I did.
love the train conductor.
Oh yeah, there was.
He was just like he was great.
It's
I
great because like he was saying like, oh, the train's running out of fuel, and then we had to like get the shovels and like shovel coal back in. It's great.
I heard that, and I'm glad because I remember listening to rewatching people's streams and their perspective, and they were like pretty cool. Like they're like, oh, I got shot, so if I do get into the point where I can like pull my gun out, I'm not using a rifle because maybe I can only use my left hand right now, so I'll pull out my pistol instead and try to get someone with a pistol if like they weren't paying attention, or we didn't take their stuff. So I saw that I was like, that's a good idea. So I always when I was injured in that fight, I was like not gonna use my rifle, and I was like, okay, I got brought back. You guys took care of me. I played wounded. I passed out on you guys while we're trying to get back to the train, and I just leaned against the wall. Like I was kind of useless, but I still had my pistol in my hand. But I was role playing like I was really limp with it. Like if someone tries anything, I'd probably just be slow to shoot.
Yeah, it's good to roleplay your injuries. Like, I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I hate when
Otherwise,
people are just like up and like I'm better. It's like, dude, you just got shot with a shotgun.
yeah, I just got shot by a 12 caliber or 12 gauge shotgun, but it's just kind of passed through my shoulder. I'm fine.
That would hurt so bad. Um, I can't wait for the new fresh up because I've taken a break from roleplay for the most part. I did a little bit of roleplay on DayZ, but I replayed like for like 4 days, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not in the mood. I'm just gonna go back to like watching streams and doing some PvP here and there, and just like working on videos. And so when I finally get whitelisted for Family RP, I think I'm gonna be like I think I'm already in the right headset right now, headspace. I just been having fun doing what I'm doing lately, just having fun playing the game, just having fun enjoying things without drama. So now I'm just like I feel reset and fresh and ready for roleplay to come.
That's good. Yeah, I took a few weeks off from roleplay until TFRP launched, and then it's been great. Just kind of have your batteries recharged, rather than just logging on for the sake of it, and then just being not really knowing what to do, or having anything to do. You're just kind of not doing much. You honestly feel like you're wasting a slot in the server because there are other people that want to get on and actually have some real role play to do, and you're just being like, I'll log on, I guess, but I don't really know what to do, and you're kind of low energy with it. It's
Yeah.
happened to me a few times, and I usually just take a couple of weeks break.
What are some features they've added? Other features they added to the Family RP because I know that I've seen a lot of. Every time I talk to you about it, I always learn something new about the server, and I'm like,
It sounded like I'm like a salesman for the server or something.
you sell me on it, baby.
Yeah.
You're having fun, so
Let me just
I can tell.
think. I'm having so much fun. There's gathering as well. So like your herb gathering, and that's another thing. Like the cartographer I was telling you about, like they're role playing, like writing down the locations of where to find the herbs, and then selling that information on maps to people, which is great because not everyone would know where to find all these herbs if they're not like a natural like outdoors person.
What's the health system
Outdoorsman.
like? Like,
What's the what like?
what's the health system like? Is it like
I think you can talk when you're downed. Other than that, it's the same as like Wild West
Like you,
something.
like did they mod it so you go down easier? Because the issue on some servers they had is that you get golden cores and you're like invincible from things.
um, I think there are golden core things, but you get it from crafting, which is kind of a bit. I'm kind of, I don't know. Like you can get eagle eye, but not dead eye. So the eagle eye is for like finding herbs and like and hunting, which I'm fine with because whatever. Like, but there are things that give you like golden cores in there, and I know that was a thing that happened on Wild West RP, where everyone was just taking mushrooms before a firefight
Oh my god, yeah.
just so they could win it. You
And
know,
eating mid
like
firefight
it
to heal
got to a point where
themselves. Yeah.
yeah, it was ridiculous, and I think there's a rule on not being allowed to do that. I'm not sure. I hope so, because
I feel like the
otherwise it's gonna
server it's
be a
already
problem.
really good with like the systems they have from what you've told me, and I think it's only gonna get better, more polished.
Yeah, it will. The devs definitely know what they're doing. They've been really good, and they've been pretty open to suggestions as well
It
from the
sounds like
community, which
though
is important.
they've made it in a way where it makes it so people can really get more immersed easier. And I can't wait to get in there and explore and see how different it feels for myself since I haven't had the chance to actually get in there yet.
Yeah, I hope you do get in. Uh,
Um, but I know I have an idea for a character I want to play. I've been like daydreaming about him, like just like the emotions I want to betray, like to betray to people. Am I using the word rightly? The show,
Portray.
yeah, portray, yeah, to people,
Yeah.
and the kind of person he's gonna be, and I'm leaving him very open to like basically I'm going with as I get in there, um he's gonna be someone who I figured out his like employment's gonna be like hunting and trapping, but that's what he knows how to do. And then everything else is just kind of like maybe I'll learn it along the way for stuff like Midwest. You probably know how to ride a horse, but I don't know how to tame a horse. So like
Yeah.
if I have a horse, I'll ride it because I'm going for someone who's a kind of rough outdoorsy person for the most part. He's
Yeah.
religious. He's probably Christian or something like that. Believes in God because I want to get like into the time period. Struggles with good and bad. You know, like he's I want to say he's a smart person, but nor is he a dumb person. Like he's not like intelligent, like book smart. He's more like, uh, I learned from my mistakes because sometimes they got me really hurt. You know, things like that. But he's not like I'm a governor type person where I'm well educated. So like ignorance is going to be a part of it. Like when I'm talking to high class society people, I'm just not going to like understand some of the shit they talk about, which would be fun.
Sounds awesome. Like, and you mentioned like being a Christian and that like there's a few Christian characters on the server. You can tell they've actually done their research and they're like quoting things from the Bible, just right off the bat in the middle of RP, stuff like that. It's important to do research
My
into
character
stuff
doesn't know how to
like
read,
that.
so he's more like he's Christian by word of mouth and going to church. So,
Right.
like, because that makes it easier for me to role play since I don't have to like know the book very well. But
You could still do it though, and
uh,
just be like, "Hey, this is what I heard the father given a sermon or something
yeah,
like that." Like
I used to go to
doing
church
research
when I
on
was a
stuff like
kid.
that is important. I think just because like there are people who do actually know their shit when it comes to that kind of those kind of characters, and
I think I
they'll
think
know pretty soon and call you out on it in character if you're not
that's
actually like, "Oh, I'm a Christian,"
that's perfect because
but
they can
I
teach
don't know
me.
anything about it.
I can leave it up to them to teach me because I'm be like I don't know how to read. I went to church. I was told that God is good. Treat your family and friends the way you want to be treated, and like I know about hell and damnation of sins and things like that. But like uh allow me to like get educated by like if I come across somebody who's like a priest or something like that, I can role play more into it and learn it, which makes it more realistic for me
Yeah,
because then
that's
like
fair.
I'm already ignorant, so I don't have to role play being ignorant. I'm just ignorant to these like the details, and that'd
Yeah,
be cool. Um,
yeah. I think I'm pretty sure. I don't know for certain because I haven't been down yet. Because I'm so good, obviously, Billy Badass. No kidding. Um, but I'm pretty sure if you're downed, you can talk to people, which I like a lot.
yeah, I noticed that on GTA Family server because like I didn't know you could do that, and I was in a car accident really bad. And I was flipped over, and I was just sitting there on the highway, but no no patrol was over there, and they're like, why didn't you call 911 on your phone? I was like, oh, I could do that. Just like, because like you're in an accident, maybe you can play unconscious
Right.
for a bit, and then be like, you wake up and be like 911, I was in an incident, you know, and then they come and get you.
It's good because you can it means you can still roleplay.
That's
Like when you're
perfect. Yeah.
apart from just doing like slash me interactions, you can actually talk and be like, they shot me or this is what happened or stuff like that. As as long as you actually get the medical attention, you're allowed to remember that kind of
Cool,
thing.
cool.
Usually.
You can like role play fatally injured. You can role play. You can,
Yeah, it just opens up the options a lot.
yeah. Dude,
I
I
like
you know
it.
what I do because I love doing this sometimes, especially when I did this on DayZ. If I got shot and I was playing somebody who was kind of like a wimp, or I got shot somewhere where really hurts, I go, ah, just like scream like that on the ground, just like just like, and people are like, oh my god, we gotta help this guy.
Yeah.
And
Rather than just being unconscious of being like
yeah,
slash me
yeah.
has a bullet wound in X, they'll be like, oh, they shot me in the like wherever, like they shot me in the arm or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or you shot in the ass. I can't walk. They shot me in the goddamn ass. You gotta drag me.
Yeah.
uh, I love scaring people with like, cause like on the RP stuff on the other server, when you're unconscious, you have to wait till you wake up to make noise. I'd always wake up screaming in pain and surprise people sometimes. It's fucking hilarious. uh,
Yeah. It's got a lot of potential, the server, and there's been just stellar roleplay from pretty much everybody I've met so far. It's just been great. So they keep it going and keep the quality up, then I think it's got a bright future ahead of it for sure. And
how's the
they're
clothing
still adding
system?
mechanics all the time. What's that?
How's the clothing system?
It's very similar. You can't just change your outfits anywhere. You have to go. You can still like have multiple outfits, but you have to go to a clothing store or a general store to actually change your outfit, which is great.
Too bad they can't make it like an
Apart from that,
inventory
it's just
item. You know, you have like you can keep it on your horse, something that's actually be
that's another thing that's really good. There's actually limited inventory space and slots, so
yes.
you can't just walk around like a fucking arsenal with everything you need.
I felt
You
weird.
have to choose, being like, okay, I'm going out for a long camping or hunting expedition. I need firewood, I need food, I need ammunition, but I can't bring my shotgun because I'm going to be hunting, so I've got to leave that behind. And I think they're going to be adding like player storage eventually, maybe, but not like it can
Is
be robbed. I
is there
think.
a housing?
Not so. There are locks and keys. You can lock doors to kind of say you can that your business is here, but officially you can't officially claim anywhere. So if another like group of people decide that, hey, actually I want this area, you can shoot the lock off and destroy them, and then they can put their own lock on, and there'll be some like conflict through that.
Nice. I
It's gonna be
wonder
interesting.
if they can mod buildings in or spawn because like there's
I
already
don't think so. The
there's a lot.
instances like GTA,
Yeah.
I don't think they can do that yet.
I
Like in
hope.
Red M at all right now.
How many? I wonder because I haven't played single player a whole lot. I wonder how many buildings are closed on the online map that actually have interiors.
I haven't played really barely any single player either, honestly, which is bad because I really should.
This story's pretty good. I'm only like 20%
But
into the story, and it's like it's giving me a lot of ideas for like RP
yeah,
from that alone. Um, but yeah, because like there's so many buildings that have like doors you can kind of shake. It looks like a door that you'd be able to go into, and I'm wondering how many buildings actually have rooms that are like accessible. Because I'd love to like see them either like add instances in where you can like go into a house and like have people living in like have all the buildings accessible in Blackwater. It'd be cool. It'd add more immersion.
yeah. I hope that what they do is instead of adding to interiors, they find a way just how to open the buildings
Yeah,
and
preferably.
actually have them unlocked. Rather, because I feel like instances is just kind of you're just you're closing people off from roleplay. Like you're closing areas off and be like, okay, our characters are going to stand around in this building for a bunch of time, and And people have no idea that you're actually there because you're in a different instance. Like they could be walking outside and they
I
wouldn't
would.
even be able to see you because you're in the building. I just think it
Oh,
segregates things a little too much, you
yeah.
know?
I was thinking like one instance where if anybody else walked in there, you just go in there too. But I would prefer them be able to mod it in a open room for sure. If that became a way. That's why it's like if they get to the mod tools or they can spawn things in or build things, it'd be cool for them to like add more homes to live in and stuff like that. Because like there's so many you know what I'm saying. You can enter so many buildings, and
Yeah.
the server sounds better. This is already like a lot of good quality of life systems, and it already like I was watching Jam play, and it already seemed more lively. Like there's more reason to be places and
Yeah.
do things.
There's
So
people everywhere. Like people aren't just congregating in one area. They're like moving from town to town, and they're going to the west because they're going west because they need to find a horse, a certain breed. So they're going out west, and then they're coming back east to bring it back, and they're going all around different towns, different areas. Just there's more reason to just do stuff, you know.
I can't wait to
And
see what
there's just so much more
circumstance
roleplay becoming like because of it's been great.
I can't wait to see what circumstance I fall into because like I'm playing somebody who's open to do bad things to get by, but not like fucked up things. More like I've been on the road all day. I'm running out of food, so this guy came up and I got a revolver. So I rob him for his satchel of food and water, and you know maybe I'm desperate, so I don't think to ask instead. Maybe because the last two guys I asked left me behind, or I can't wait to see what like I end up becoming as a character because I left my first character up to that, and he became a very good, morally good person who dived into the darkness for a bit, but then came back out.
I
Uh,
really liked Nick. I think he was definitely your best character. Not that I don't like, any of your other ones like Riker and that. They're great too. But
oh, he's
Nick was
definitely up
great.
there, Nicholas. I think for my own opinion of my best characters, I would say would have my best character I ever played. You didn't get to see was John Wishire on Daisy RP. And then it'd be Nicholas right afterwards, Mr. Waycrest after that, and those are like three really good characters I played. And then after that, it would just probably be like Johnny Iverson, which is like scared junkie who ended up selling a lot of weed. uh, and then it'd be like Riker, and then like Riker from Red Dead, and Riker from Daisy, and then like my psychopath I paid for like 2 weeks, and like none of them were like horrible characters, but like they just weren't as impactful as like those top three because they were people who were fairly good, but you pissed them off. You know they're human. They don't make the best choices when they're angry. You know, um, like Mr. Waycrest would if you wronged him and you were at his club, he had a huge security team. He was like, all right, you should. I go up to the main guys like, you see that guy down here? He's fixing bets in my goddamn arena down there. And so we bring him upstairs, and I take out a can of beans, and I'm like telling him a story, and I just beat the shit out of him with a can of beans in my fist, and then like let him go after I tell him a lesson. I don't kill him. I just rough him up and tell him that he's no longer allowed to gamble in my little casino area. And then of Nicholas, there was a lot of good points. There was like the whole thing of Moon and basically telling Moon to her, no, I'm not going to be part of your, security service because I have a family and friends and people to take care of. And then
Yeah.
he's like, fuck your family, Nick. And I punched him. That was a good moment. And then another good one that you didn't get to see, I don't know if you even watched the video, my friend Freeman, I was worried about him. He was an ex-slave and he had a lot of, PTSD from his past. He was a friend. He was a brother to my character. I cared about him so much. And later on, he stabs me in the neck. I survive. I report him. I spend some time in jail next to him. And I sit there and I just ask him why. Why did he do it? And the reason it gave me surprised me. He was just such a broken man who wanted to die. And he didn't try to kill me. He did. But like I survived. So it was like, now Minnie can be together and I can finally get my peace. And my character was pissed. He was raged. She wanted to kill him. Then he didn't want to kill him, but then he wanted to kill him anyway just because he knew he wasn't safe anymore to be around. So I was out looking for him, but I didn't get to find him. My friend Kruger finds him and does the deed, and that fucks up Kruger's like personality because like he just did something that he never has really done before, and like Nick doesn't have to take on that stress of murdering somebody because he's religious and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
it's great. Like, sorry, go ahead.
and I only killed a couple of people on my character, and every time he killed somebody, he felt really bad. Like this one guy named what was his name? Like Skip or something like that. It was this like old black man who like pretends to have a bum leg, and he asks you to carry his luggage upstairs, and then he tries to rob you, and I end up getting away. He robs me. And me and my other friend Caleb chase him down, and he starts shooting at us. So we had to put him down, and he like floated down the river off a waterfall. And I was like, "Fuck! I killed somebody."
Yeah, it's good to have. Like, I've made a character that I haven't really started using yet, and he's just gonna be completely morally neutral. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with him, but I'm just gonna say, like, I'm just gonna let the RP take him where it may. Kind of like, is he going to be a good person? It depends on what happens to him, you know? If he's going to be, what is he going to do for a job? It depends who offers him a job, if he actually has the ability to do the job. And then, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've not really done it before because I've always had like, oh yeah, Jimmy's a hunter, and this is what Jimmy does. So it'll be interesting to explore that as well.
My hope is that I get some really good heart-wrenching RP again. That's something I haven't had in a bit, and I really miss that stuff. I got a little bit of it recently from like Kinship Daisy RP, but that was like it was a weird situation. That was so. Here's something: you don't need to actually interact with people directly to have good role play. It's not the easiest thing to do, but so basically, here's the situation. Here's the scene. I'm fucked up by wolves. I'm like bleeding really bad. I almost died. I'm like got like no HP left on my character. I'm like one hit and I will fucking fall and die. And I come in the city, I hear gunshots in town, and there's zombies everywhere, and I want to get some help. So I climb onto this metal roof. Mind you, it's a sunny, hot day, and metal roofs get really hot. So I roleplay that I'm also just baking up here, cooking, sweating, bleeding on myself. I bandage up myself the best I could, and I shoot my last 3 bullets in the air, like in a way where it sounds like I'm trying to get someone's attention, And I get this guy's attention. He's over on the police station. And then he's up binoculars, I have binoculars. I can see him looking at me, and I can see myself looking at him. And I just start waving my arms at him. And he like looks at me again, and then like goes down the staircase and comes back around. And I see him by the other side of the wall. But what he doesn't know on the side of the wall, there's a fucking horde of zombies coming around the corner. There's like 30 of them. And I start waving, and I start yelling. I don't know if I was in voice, or I was like, don't shoot your gun! Run away! Get out of here! Just like yelling at him, because like if he shoots his gun, all those zombies are gonna come around the corner on his ass, and it happens, and it does. And I never heard anything he said, but we communicated through like emote, like waving our hands and stuff like that, and it's
that all happened like completely organically, right?
Yeah,
like, because
all
you shot the gun in
organically.
the air, then he turned up, and then this happened because of that. I love that shit, man.
And the cool thing was I had my
love it.
radio on too, and another person organically heard my cries for help on the radio. Like I'm sitting on the rooftop baking. I'm like, if I get out of this, I promise I'll make a difference for somebody out there, because there's not enough good people anymore out there. The world just tears people apart. If I make it out of this,
You sound like Rick Grimes.
Yeah, that's the idea for the voice. So it makes that promise. And dude, you have to see the video, because I was really into character, so I was teary-eyed up. My voice cracked perfectly for it, so I can't do it justice now because it was like in the moment. And then the worst part was, I pass out from the heat, because they actually had a cool button you can actually make sure to go unconscious. And then I wake up and it's silent. All the zombies I heard growling around me are gone. Like they must have walked off when I was unconscious during that time period. I did hear some other sounds out there. So maybe someone shot a gun and the zombies went in a different direction. And I climbed down the ladder, and I was just surprised. There's zombie bodies everywhere because the guy had killed a lot of them. And I follow the trail. I go up to the police station. I see a shitload of zombie bodies up front of the police station. And I walk in there, and there's my savior. He's dead. He was ripped apart, ran out of ammo. He had Stantag. To give you an idea how many zombies there were, he had a M4 with 60 round coupled mags, and all 4 of them are empty. And he died of a revolver in his hand. And I picked up the revolver. There was like 2 shots left in it, and he had a bunch of revolver ammo. So he was down to his revolver, got stuck inside the building, and was just torn to shreds. And so my kid just sits there next to him, just like, destroyed. This man who saved his life, he didn't have to save his life, is dead. So I just sat there next to his corpse, with the radio on, and said, like, I made it out of there. I found him, but he didn't make it. I wish he did. I wish it was me instead of him. He didn't have to die. He put his life down for me when he didn't even know me. And like, I'm sitting here, just my radio's on, I'm just talking into it, and the next thing I hear is, hello? And then like, it took me a minute to realize it was the radio because it was just sitting next to me. I thought it was outside for a second. And I got in a conversation with Andy, and I ended up telling Andy where I was by, like, I didn't know where I was at all. I didn't know what city I was in. I just knew that I was at a police station. We were in radio range, so you had to be kind of close. And outside the window, because I was sitting down, but I was like fucked up, so I was just going to stay sitting there because I was going to either perma kill myself if no one saved me and just die there, or if someone saved me, I was going to get out of it. So I look out the window, I see a castle on the hilltop, and I go, I see a castle out there over on the hill. I don't know if that's an indicator of anything, but I shoot my revolver once in the air. Maybe you can hear that. So he hears it, and he eventually pinpoints me at the police station and finds me. And it was just the coolest, most organic RP I had on the server.
Yeah, nice.
And it felt good, but I'm kind of over Daisy RP because I've roleplayed it so much, and unfortunately the servers are not as full as other servers these days, and the map's huge. So like I played a lot of days afterwards, just not seeing anybody for hours. And I was like, I really don't want to go to the main hubs where everybody roleplay at, because like then I'll just be stuck there too, and everybody seems to be stuck inside their bases because you're too scared to go outside, and everyone's loot hoarding. So I was like, fuck it, I'll wait for I'll wait for Family RP to come out.
I played a little bit on Daisy RP, I think about a year or two ago, and we were trying to start this charity company, a charity like a thing up in Green Mountain. It just didn't work, because even if you were trying to give things away and like help people, a lot of people would just come and roll on everyone anyway, and just you'd be like, okay, so like we're gonna give you some stuff, but we only want like a certain amount of people in at a time, and if you could just like holster your weapons when you're in, we weren't actually gonna try anything. But they're like, no, I want all of my boys to come in. We're all gonna have guns out. And we're like, well, we can't do that. And then they start initiating hostile RP, and they want to kill everyone, and then they'll saw your locks off when you're online anyway, and it's like,
Daisy RP was one of those servers that had, and I don't mind talking shit about the server because it deserves it now. At this point, I played on it since 2014. It had its really good moments because of good players.
Same as every server.
And it was one of the only RP servers that was lasting long enough back then. So the RP servers would pop up for like a couple months and disappear, but that one stayed consistent. So everybody was kind of like, oh, we have to kind of go back there and role play. The issue I had is I had a group of boys who had shit on the owner, I believe, and they could never get banned. They could never do wrong, and they were part of the admin staff, and they would always break their own rules. And I remember being told in Discord, people were messaging me like, dude, just apologize and drop the report because they're about to ban you. I was like, what? Why? They broke the rules. So there was times I had to be like, I'm sorry guys, I reported you, and just move on because I was about to get banned for shit. And but it had moments like when Moon played there for a bit, and when I was playing there with other groups of people. And the good thing was, I started to learn like the times when those like fuck you over groups were playing. And I played in areas where people didn't really go to, and I ended up finding a little bit of a community out that way. So I ended up having good RP on the server because I was just like, we were isolated from the big dick groups that would roll around just for your gear,
Yeah. I don't know how long I've been role-playing for. I've been role-playing since 2004, and I started on Jedi Academy. Like there was a role-play mod. I think it was like Force Mod 3 we used, and it was all text-based RP, obviously. We had like Jedi, and you had to have approval from an admin to become a Jedi character, and I had like a Stormtrooper character. That's really where I started getting my feet wet with RP. I was obviously shit at it because I was like 14 years old when I started.
2004, I was probably 6 years old.
Oh man, now I feel old. Shit. You sound older than me as well. I sound like a damn kid. And then I moved on to like San Andreas roleplay, like when it really started, like started up really very rudimentary on San Andreas multiplayer mod. There was a few text-based RP servers there. It was pretty awesome.
My first like dip into RP would probably be playing with dinosaurs in the backyard with my neighbor.
Yeah.
That's just more
I'm
of a
talking
joke.
about video game
Yeah, I
RP.
know.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
playing D&D with my dad around like 8 years old, and we had a fun adventure. But like I was so like focused on the mechanics of the game because I didn't know, like I didn't want to die. So then I didn't quite role play too much. But my dad kind of got me in character at moments because he's like, "Here's the situation. Here's the scenario. You know, like what do you do?" Stuff like that, and it was cool. And then like, around 2010, I I moved to an RP server on World of Warcraft. I started role playing on Gary's mod, like days or on Half-Life 2 servers that were text based. Um, and I got really into role play around
Oh,
2010.
Gary's mod.
Yeah, Gary's mod. Like before
Yeah,
the servers got too wacky,
dark RP.
it was back when they had very serious like this was a serious like RP map for Half-Life world. You know, it was a Half-Life themed world.
Yeah. Was it like Melon Brew or something? I can't remember. There was a really good. Have you ever seen a movie? It was called War of the Servers. Oh, dude, I don't know if you have, but
I
it was
haven't.
basically a movie based on like trolls invading roleplay servers and they can't be banned. And it was like a parody of War of the Worlds. If you haven't seen it, it
I
was
gotta watch
amazing.
it. That sounds good.
And it's like, yeah, like roleplay servers are getting attacked by these people. Like they were called minge bags in the
Ah, yeah,
RP.
yeah, yeah. I got
Yeah,
called a
yeah,
ninja a bunch
and
of
they're like
times.
they've got these tripod things with like LU like remover guns that are destroying everyone's shit and like coming into roleplay servers and destroying everyone's stuff. Oh, it was so good,
You want to know something
so
funny?
good.
There's a
It's so
there's an not RP server. There's a building server that's owned by Dark RP people, I believe, or something like that. There's a build server that got banned on for being a minge bag back in 2000 something, before 2010.
yeah.
I was like probably like 12 or 13. I was being a little dick, and I went back to play there one day as an adult. This is like a couple months ago actually, and I was still a minge rank, and
You still not love fucking.
I was able to play, but I couldn't spawn anything. I couldn't run. I could run around and like talk a little bit, and
Yeah,
I had fun because there was no main admins on to like undo because the guy one of the modders was like, dude, you were banned like 8 years ago.
yeah.
I'm like, I was a kid then, so I can tell you it definitely changed. And then I'm like, how about this? Can you guys build me a house to live in? It could be a little pet or something like that. So they built me a little house to live in. I was like, I'm the best little ninja you guys have ever had. It was so fun. I almost uploaded the video of it, but like I actually messed up the audio on half of it, so most of the good comedy was lost. But it was
Uh,
so funny. People were like amused that I was like this like 8-year-old minge that's been there for 8 years on the server. I was like, dude.
yeah.
I remember when the map was just a square map, like a square map, and you could,
Construct.
yeah, you could like. I was good at doing the wire modded stuff, so I would build turrets that automatically killed people, and spawn them
Oh
and
yeah,
I would,
trolling with that kind of things.
yeah, and I'd spawn them everywhere, so they auto shoot people, so they couldn't just like get away, and they had to do server restarts to like clear it.
You're a little shit.
Yeah, so I got banned for that,
Funny.
and then, but yeah, it's fucking a long time ago.
Red Dead Roleplay's been my first time doing voice RP.
You roleplay someone silent on
I've nev-
Daisy?
apart from no, sorry, you're right. I did Daisy RP as well, but only for like about 2 months. Before that, I'd never done any voice roleplay before. So I started off, and I'm still like, fuck, man. I'm compared to some of the role players on the server, like I'm nothing. I got so much that I'm still like got to work on. Like I
I would
remember
say
at
you're
one point.
pretty up there though. You're
What's that?
you
No,
have
I'm
like
not.
you have natural skill. I think you're only getting
I
better.
can do accents. That's it.
And I think you're good, and you're only getting better. So it's like that's
I strive to try and get better. I'm not trying to like say stuff for clout or anything, but like yeah, I
you're
try
gonna be
and
your
better
own
myself all the
worst
time if
critic.
I
But I'm gonna
can.
tell you, you're beautiful at it, and you're amazing, and you got a
Oh,
nice ass. So
I'm blushing.
that's
Um,
my new favorite thing
nah,
lately.
like
Tell people they have a nice ass. I'm like, you got a nice ass, just like that.
I'm I'm trying to get better. Like fuck. Like I remember the way I started. I was pretty shitty. Like even when I started in like the whole civil security with Frederick Price. Like there's one moment I look back on and cringe. And it's when like we were gonna go to Guam for the evening, and he was asking me in character like, how long does it take to get there? Because you know it's pretty late. and he was talking as in like RP wise, like, oh, it would take hours to sail a boat to Guam, or even days, you know. And I was like, oh no, you just go there instantly, like saying that in character. And he's like, that's not what I meant. I was like, oh, of course he meant from fucking like not talking about mechanics, idiot. And then I look back and I was like, oh yeah, that's stupid. Like those kind of little things where it was pretty late and I was tired and I didn't really understand what he was saying. And I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, that's what he meant.
I love when people like reference mechanics like that. Like I don't like it, but like it's funny. Yeah. I like to mess with them. Especially in like DayZ, it's a big issue when people are like, "Oh, you just like I can't plot it here.
Press the Y key."
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You just dig a hole right there. I can see right there. There's too many rocks. So you probably can't put a farm plot there. So maybe try over there instead. And he's like,
yeah.
And they're like, oh, I get it. I'm being dumb.
I do that as well. Right these days, like people are like, yeah. So like, do you know where I can find like a rock and a stick so I can craft arrows? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't realize you knew how to craft arrows. Like, do you know that? That's pretty cool. Like, how did you learn? Like, kind of try to subtly say, like, do you know that? I mean, if they do, like, it's fair enough. I'd like to hear some sort of...
If they're asking where to find a rock and a stick, they probably don't know how to craft arrows, you know?
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know, pick a stick off the fucking floor and a rock. There's plenty around here in the middle of a forest.
If I was the guy who made arrows as a living, I'd be like, I'm not gonna tell you where I find my best slate at for arrow making. And just like, cause natives chose very specific rocks for making arrowheads.
Yeah, and there's stuff like there's the troll who came on the server the other day, and he basically just ran out of nowhere. And I was talking with a deputy, and he was like, "Fuck these deputies, bro!" And then like when we were talking about it to the sheriff, I was like, "Yeah, he was using like really peculiar language. He didn't really understand like." Yo and bro, and I've never heard anything like it, you know. Just try and
you should be like, you're not my brother.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What do you mean by that? I don't have a brother. Just like
yeah. It's hard though talking like, you know, old West times. You try not to use like too intelligent words, like modern words and terms that wouldn't have been invented then. Like, hey, that guy's a psychopath. I'm like, oh actually does the term psychopath even exist back then? Probably not.
That man's got a...
Now I say maniac instead.
That man's got a nut loose, you know, just stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Like, he ain't running my head, that boy.
I think, like, someone who was, like, educated would use psychopath back then, maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
Like, somebody who's...
There are many actually educated people, and I slip up on that all the time. Like, sometimes I say, I think Jimmy's too smart, and he wouldn't have been. He's a hunter. Stuff like that I keep on, like, wanting to improve on. But,
the funny part is you can always like roleplay getting smarter too. Like if you like meet somebody who's like educated, maybe they can rub off on you a little bit too. That's something you can.
There's a great a character in Wild West RP called Shadow. He's played by I think this guy was Pray and Pray Eric or something, and he started off as like he was a native that didn't really know how to talk well. He didn't know how to write or anything, and then he eventually like. People started teaching him how to write and read and talk properly, and then like he changed his clothing as his character progressed, and just from start like to now, it's just been awesome to watch his character evolve like that.
I would love
done so well all through roleplay
to run into a native who doesn't speak English at all, and just like imagine my hands. I'm like, all right, now I'm just gonna back up carefully. I don't want any problems. I know you probably don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna. Yeah, he raises his bow. I'm like, okay, just take it easy. Just trying to like be calm and just like kind of scared at the same time. It'd be a lot of fun, you know?
Yeah.
I'm excited to get on there. I'm like daydreaming a lot about like potential moments that could come through with it, and I look forward to like I don't know what zone I'm gonna choose yet, but I kind of want to choose the desert. To be a real roughneck kind of character to start out with.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You don't have to stick to a zone. Like you can just you just get a train and then you switch to East Odessa. And it's as well. It's not New Alexandria. It's called Odessa.
Odessa.
So it's basically like you're in a completely new state, which is it's been kind of challenging because all of the locations are the same and the names are the same, and like people bring in characters from other servers as well. Like I think you can't assume that anyone that you knew from other servers knows your character. Like, you have the option to retcon certain things,
That's why I'm
which is
making. That's
nice.
why I'm making a new character and letting things settle first, and let Riker disappear for a while, and then bring him back when either everyone kind of forgot about him, or there's like one or two people, making it easier to retcon. You know, because
Yeah,
it was like,
there's a few teething problems with that kind of thing because no one really knows. It's like, oh, like you meet a character right away that you knew on another server, and you're kind of just you're forgetting that they actually might want to do a reset on that character, or they might want to forget certain things that happened.
because like
You
Riker
know,
knows a
so it's
lot
kind
of
of hard.
people, so it's just like there's already a lot of people going over there, and I feel like Jimmy. I don't know how many people you know, but I feel like you don't know as many on Jimmy since you haven't been playing him as much lately. You know.
I mean, all the characters that I do know as Jimmy that are on there right now, I think most of the relationships are the same, or like remembering things.
Okay.
But there are quite a few. Like, I think there are at least 6 or 7, at least. But then there are like so many of the characters I've met and now new, which has been great as well. Uh, it's been nice to start fresh and meeting new characters and developing relationships with them. There's a really cool arc going on right now with there's a guy who claims he works for this fur company, and he's put signs up everywhere saying that his company has claim on the East Grizzlies and all of the game there. And that's obviously pissed off characters like Jimmy, who are hunters, in their spare time. I mean, like, well, you can't claim an entire area. Like, fuck you. And then they're going over there, and we're talking to him, and he's like, this guy's great. He's playing like a really simple character that doesn't really understand that you can't just put signs up and claim an area. So that we've been like taking his signs down, and then like we locked him out of his cabin, and then left a bunch of wolf carcasses to send a message. And then yesterday, there's one of the admins plays a religious character who held a sermon in the area. I'll link you to it after because it was great. And he was just talking about how like greed in the land is like a plague, and he was directly talking about or indirectly talking about this fur company. So then like he gave a sermon in front of like a load of people, and everyone was like, "Yeah, I agree." And then we went and spoke to the guy at the cabin after. We'd had like an hour-long talk about it. We were trying to like say it's like peacefully as possible, like stop trying to claim the land, and because he's been fining people as well if they're caught. So it's just been it's slow. It's been really nice slow burn RP. It's slowly getting like he's basically been given his final warning from like a lawyer who says he has no rights, a religious man who says no rights, and then the sheriffs have gone up there and said, "Hey, like you don't have any claim to these areas. So if something does happen to you,
He's like a con man. I love it.
yeah, he's great though. Like all of the role play from everyone being like, and there's like the cartographer who's been up there, be like, yeah, actually, I've been mapping out this area, and the East Grizzlies is a large area. You can't claim it; it's just too big. It's just been great, and it's like it's slow burn. It's slowly starting to get a little more escalating, and it'll probably turn violent. And we're talking about like maybe doing like a baptism in finger quotes there for the person if he doesn't stop. So it's been really, really fun.
Imagine it's like you have to be like, so you ever been tied to 2 horses?
It's going to be a baptism with ropes involved, that's for sure.
Oh, does the server have functioning gallows?
No, but I think, and I don't quote me on this. I think they might be working on it because I think there is a mechanic for it in Red M or Red Dead, like in single player. I'm not sure. So I think that's something they're working on and they're gonna bring in the future. I think.
I just for video's sake
I hope so.
and RP's sake, just that shot of someone who had a lot of RP just building up and finally being caught by the deputy, just being like the drums.
Oh yeah. Like if I ever bring Johnny onto the server, like I'm doing it so like the first time he gets caught and if he gets charged, like I don't know what crime he's gonna commit, but if he definitely gets charged with like murder and like given what would be like a death penalty or a life sentence, I'm fucking taking it, man. Like hang him in front of everyone, and I want him to give this like defiant speech before he like gets hanged, and it'd be fucking awesome.
I just imagine you and I are there next to each other because we got caught for something big, like
first time
listing off crimes, just like larceny, arsony, just like going down the list. Just like train heist, thievery, robbery, murder, attempted murder, torture, just like donkey theft,
God,
just going down. Just like
done with it.
I look at you for the donkey fist. Just
Fucking hang me already.
just like
yeah.
you leave behind some like riddle of some potentially hidden treasure that just turns violent for everybody because everyone's like greedy for this potential treasure that doesn't exist. That'd be fun to leave behind as like last words.
You know what's great as well about the server is the law enforcement is so much more stripped down and stripped back and simplified. You know, it's very much like they'll put bounties on people and be like, yeah, hey, if you're capable of doing it, like, I've got a bounty on this person, so, you know, if you can go grab them, that'd be great and bring them back. Like, it's so much more simplified and true to its time.
Nice.
Rather than trying to be modern day law enforcement, you know,
I can't wait for someone to piss off a deputy where it gets personal. They piss off like a sheriff and be like, and the guy's like, why aren't you taking me to jail? I'm like, you ain't going to jail. Just like,
you're going to the noose, son. Yeah.
Not even a noose. They're like, we're taking you somewhere else because you really fucked up. You know, like, because like they say some guy just really screwed over this deputy, like killed a family member. You know, he's something horrible to him. He's like,
yeah. You're allowed to have corrupt deputies as well, which is going to be great because, you know, at the end of the day, back in the Old West, like, a lot of deputies were just outlaws with a fucking badge on, you know? Like, they weren't good men. They were just shitty people that had a lot of power. And, you know, they'd make deals and you know, let their friends go. And so the fact that you can actually have a chance to roleplay someone like that, I mean, you've got to be very careful.
Is there a shoveling animation in the game?
Shoveling? Yeah. I don't think so.
Or pickaxing or digging animation or something?
There probably will be eventually because there is in Red Dead, I think, like digging animations.
You know those graves over by Armadillo? It'd be so much fun to have them animation dig in there, like digging their own grave.
And lie in it. Yeah. Bullet in them.
I can use it as a good guy because I want to do it as a good guy where it's like I don't kill them, I just make them dig it and then lie in it for a bit, and it's like, how does that feel?
Yeah.
Just like
make them think they're gonna die.
I put my gun at them and shoot next to their head.
Hold a gun to their head, but have the gun be empty, and they just be like, "All right, get up, you're free to go."
Well, it's your lucky day.
Absolutely shitting themselves.
Here. Yeah,
that'd be great.
They run off into the desert. I would like the way I would want to do is like have them lay in the grave and then like shoot next to their head, but like I would find a way to like render in like a scorpion or something like that next to their head, like get After Effects, and then like have the gunshot make like hit the scorpion next to their head or something like that. Just as like a cool little scene thing.
Yeah, it's exciting times. It's been a breath of fresh air.
Well, we are an hour in to the whatchamacallit, the podcast. I usually end at an hour. Do you have anything you want to plug or talk about before we end it?
Not really. Just, you know, TFRP's great. Having a great time. Sinnix, great dude. Yeah, just hopefully more role players come and good role players come to the server, and it just keeps getting better. And you know, the devs have done a great job, and looking forward to seeing what happens next. It's gonna be awesome.
I look forward to it too as well. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Catch you guys next time. We have videos almost daily here. Bye-bye.